Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5.
We begin tonight with breaking news. A 25-year-old man is dead after a farming accident near Oaks, North Dakota. Officials say it happened yesterday around 9:30 in the morning when emergency crews responded just northwest of Oaks, involving an accident with an individual and farm equipment. The 25-year-old male was pronounced dead at the scene. His name is being withheld until family is notified. New for you tonight at 5, an agricultural equipment factory in Fargo says it plans to lay off more people. An employee alerted us to the situation, saying more jobs are in jeopardy at the Case New Holland plant. Valley News Team's Alexandra Kay is live in Fargo with the very latest on this story. Alexandra?
Mike, employees of Case New Holland walked into work today to a notice posted saying that 35 workers across 5 different job categories will be permanently laid off starting March 23rd. Those job categories include manufacturing associate, welder, and finish painter. A source at Case tells us that these types of permanent layoffs normally happen in December or January, not in February or March. We reached out to Case New Holland for a comment, but we haven't heard back yet. Reporting live in Fargo, Alexandra Kay, Valley News Live.
All right, thanks so much, Alexander, for that live report. Cleanup crews worked at a small leak in a fuel line at a boiler system at a South Elementary School in West Fargo today. Officials say the maintenance team identified the leak, which created an odor in the building. That leak has since been fixed, but the odor continues to linger throughout the building. The school is saying that they're going to let parents know if there'll be any changes to the schedule for tomorrow. Our transition has begun in the weather. Gone are the below zero temps, replaced by warmth. Let's get the very latest from Hutch, who is here with your no-wait weather planner. Hutch?
Yeah, it's taking its time, but the sun going to work and those southwest winds that have been on the breezy side today really bringing temperatures up from these very low values first thing this morning. It was brutal cold in Park Rapids, 26 below for the low there. Valley City at 17 below, Grand Forks at that same reading. Temperatures are on their way up. Now we are in the teens in Fargo. Look at Jamestown, growing bananas at 28 degrees. Wind chills right now are in the single digits above and below zero here in the Red River Valley in western Minnesota. Temperatures for Fargo this evening will hover in the teens. Those southwest winds will keep us from getting too cold too quick. Mike, we will not dip below zero this evening here in Fargo or in Grand Forks. So the warm up is indeed underway. I'll have details on how high that thermometer rises over the next couple of days here in a minute. And we'll have a look ahead to that system we've been talking about next week here in just a moment.
Can't wait for those bananas to ripen.
It'll be good.
All right, thanks. 3 people are in jail linked to thefts on a farmstead in rural Arthur, North Dakota. Authorities have arrested Cody Landa, Joshua Moan Jr., and Bailey Backstrom. A van was also impounded containing a large amount of stolen property. At this time, the sheriff's office has not been able to locate all of the owners of the property. The Cass County Sheriff asks that you notify the office if you believe you are a victim. 2 men are in jail after a drug bust at their home in Fertile, Minnesota. The Polk County Sheriff's Office says authorities found 23 grams of meth, 3.4 grams of marijuana, and nearly $1,500 in cash. 31-year-old Matthew Bierman and 27-year-old Brandon Ambule are now in custody. They face several charges, including aggravated controlled substance crimes. Police in Fargo want you to keep an eye out for a high-risk sex offender that they're trying to locate. 44-year-old Timothy Olpin was convicted of third-degree sexual assault for molesting a 5-year-old boy in a church basement in 1991. He's also convicted of raping a teenage girl multiple times while recruiting members for a gang. A warrant is out for his arrest, and if you see him, do not approach him. Simply call 911.
It's where you get some miles on it and parts are already starting to get loose and show a little bit of wear, then you might have potential for some issues.
As Hutch indicated, temperatures are warming and they'll keep improving over the weekend. That's the good news. The other side of the coin is that you're bound to see more potholes, and if you drive through enough of them, mechanics say your vehicle will be damaged. As Valley News Team's Joshua Pogaro found out, there's a difference in approaching these potholes between the state and city governments.
Henry Holtgard runs the Meineke Car Care Shop in Fargo.
Here's your spring, your strut.
This is the wear and tear driving through potholes can have on a vehicle.
When you see those cars and the tires kind of leaning like that, that's the guy that went too long, and they potentially cause a little extra damage.
That extra damage could cause your springs and struts to collapse.
Hey, honestly, there's really nothing you can do about them. You can't avoid them all the time. You don't see them all the time. You might be going faster than you should be all the time.
This time of year is tough to patch up holes on the road. Cold and moisture create a bad mixture, according to road crews.
What happens during the day, the sun comes out, the snow melts, the water runs into the cracked concrete or cracked pavement. At night it refreezes, the ice expands, and it pops out the pavement.
Lysring says the North Dakota Department of Transportation works year-round, placing temporary patches over cracked roads like this one.
If you put it in and you get a freeze-thaw cycle, it can be popped out the next day.
For the city of Fargo, filling in cracked concrete is a little more complicated.
We're addressing potholes today and yesterday, the ones that have to have something done because they could potentially damage a vehicle. But as far as being out consistently with multiple crews every day, that's not going to happen for a while.
Anderson says being out there all the time does not make sense for his crew.
If we start getting consistently in the 30s, 40s, we'll be doing consistently more potholes at that time.
They'll start working on filling potholes in April and May and continue throughout the summer. In Fargo, Joshua Peguero, Valley News Live.
Most car shops will inspect under your car when you get an oil change to check for any damage caused by potholes. Fresh off his debut on the debate stage, Democratic presidential candidate Michael Bloomberg rallied supporters in Salt Lake City, Utah today. This was Bloomberg's second rally in the state, which holds its primary on Super Tuesday. The former New York City mayor faced multiple attacks from his fellow rivals during last night's debate. And speaking to a crowd of about 400 voters, Bloomberg referenced those attacks, as well as President Trump.
And just like last night at the debate, except the other people on the stage are actually happy to see me now. Now I know what it's like to be a Utah fan in Provo during the Holy War.
Today, officials say Bloomberg stated that Trump was a bully, and he knows how to deal with bullies. Roger Stone knows how long he's going to go to prison, but he's not going to go to jail just yet. President Trump's longtime ally was convicted by a jury back in November on 7 charges stemming from a special counsel investigation into 2016 election interference. Skylar Henry is outside the federal district court in Washington, where it all unfolded.
Roger Stone emerged from a federal court to chants of "lock him up" and cheers from supporters after receiving a prison sentence of just over 3 years on charges of obstruction, lying to Congress, and witness tampering. Federal Judge Amy Berman Jackson delayed Stone's sentence until she reviews his request for a new trial based on allegations of political bias. President Trump reacted to the sentence at a law enforcement event in Las Vegas.
At some point, I'll make a determination, but Roger Stone and everybody has to be treated fairly. And this has not been a fair process.
Stone chose not to speak during the 2.5-hour sentencing hearing. He continues to deny wrongdoing. Traitor! Protesters outside the courthouse were split, with some labeling Stone a traitor and others calling on the president to issue a pardon.
Pardon Roger Stone! Pardon Roger Stone!
Earlier this week, President Trump granted clemency to disgraced former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich, fueling speculation he could pardon Stone.
But I'm not going to do anything in terms of the great powers bestowed upon a president of the United States. I want the process to play out.
House Intelligence Committee Chair Adam Schiff weighed in on Twitter, writing, "To pardon Stone when his crimes were committed to protect Trump would be a breathtaking act of corruption." The judge also ordered Stone to pay a $20,000 fine and perform 250 hours of community service. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Washington.
The final sentence was far lighter than the original 7 to 9 year sentence federal prosecutors recommended earlier in the case. North Dakota regulators have approved expanded capacity for the Dakota Access Pipeline. Energy Transfer, the company who owns the pipeline, says the expansion is needed to meet growing demand for oil shipments from North Dakota. Opponents say the expansion would increase the possibility of an oil spill. Permits for pumping stations in Iowa and Illinois are still pending. A gift drive was held at the Bowler in South Fargo today in memory of a 6-month-old Moorhead boy. Zephyr Atchison died last August from health complications. His parents decided on his first birthday to hold a fundraiser for the NICU in Minneapolis where he was treated. They tell us traveling from Moorhead to Minneapolis was hard on them emotionally and financially. They hope the funds collected during this drive will help others.
He meant so much to us, and I just miss him, and I wish he was here to celebrate his birthday with us. But he's here with us. He's here with us in the spirit.
The gift drive will go until 6 p.m., so there's still a little time to help with this cause. And hats off to Valley News Team's Abby Furchner. She was surprised to find out that she's been nominated for the United Way's Live United Award. We're told a list of nominees for this award will be released on Monday, and then on March 24th, the United Way Live United Awards will be given out at the annual meeting at the Delta Hotels by Marriott in Fargo. Way to go, Abby.